Hello and welcome to another Doctor Who figure review. Yesterday I'm bringing you the 4th Doctor regenerated figure and TARDIS, which has recently been released by B&M. As you can tell by my voice, I'm incredibly excited because I finally have it, and the quest is over for now until B&M release another lot of figures where the stress begins again. But nevertheless, we'll get onto that in a minute. Yeah, this has been an absolute pain in the arse to try and find. I've gone to loads of different B&Ms. I could have got this set on Monday, but like I said in my revised B&M figure set review, which I'll leave a link in the description below to that, somebody reserved all 6 TARDISes, which was incredibly frustrating. So I've gone all over the place to try and find it, and here it is, finally. So this set, I'm going to be honest, is a very odd set because it's not what you would expect from a TARDIS set, because you would obviously expect the 4th Doctor to be the 4th Doctor with his traditional, look, with his scarf. But this is a really odd set because it uses a regenerated 4th Doctor. Not that I mind, but it's a bit of an odd choice by character because there's still 4th Doctor variants they could do, like the 4th Doctor from Sharda, or what I thought would have been quite nice if they did a little nod back to the first release of the 4th Doctor TARDIS and actually do a proper Planet of Evil 4th Doctor. That would be quite a nice homage if they did back to the Planet of Evil TARDIS set, what they did back in 2010. But nevertheless, the way this video is going to work is I'm obviously going to show you the new packaging, then we'll move on to the 4th Doctor figure and do a comparison to the original Time Capsule release, and then we'll move on to the Classic TARDIS, and then obviously we'll do a Classic TARDIS lineup at the end of the video. So taking a look at the packaging, we have the new Doctor Who logo, and we have some Gallifreyan text, which is very reminiscent of the 13th Doctor's TARDIS floor, because she has sort of the floor slightly raised, and there's sort of that text there. Then we have the scale of the figure there. Then we have a nice window box displaying the figures there, which is rather nice. Then we have a nice silver TARDIS motif design, which is very nice. Then we have something very similar to the 13th Doctor 5-inch figure. It includes 4th Doctor regenerated from Robot 1974. Then we have the 4th Doctor regenerated in TARDIS. We have the Doctor logo again with opening doors because they like to state that. And then we have again the TARDIS motif, and then the side profile of the TARDIS and the Doctor. And again, what the set is. Take a look at the back now. We have the exact same information there, but we have a prototype image of the set and a bio on the TARDIS. So do feel free to pause if you want to have a little read of that. So there you go. And then again we have the same information there, and then on the other side we have again the prototype image of the set there. So removing the Doctor and the TARDIS from the set itself, you're greeted with a lovely little diorama, which I absolutely love because it's a little bit of a homage to the golden years of the figures, when the figures were coming out each month with Forbidden Planet. And this is a nice homage to the classic TARDIS set because the 1st Doctor set had a diorama of the junkyard, the 4th Doctor had the sort of planet landscape from, is it Zeta Major? I think it's Zeta Major or Zeta Minor, one of those, and then the 7th Doctor was the Curse of Fenric War Barracks. And obviously this is the Unit Lab, which has got a bit of artistic license, which we'll have a closer look. So we've got a picture of the Doctor, Joe and Brigadier there, which is very wholesome. I like that. We've got some books, and we've got a Buddha there, which is kind of reminiscent of Planet of the Spiders there with the character we see at the end. Then we've got some gadgets and books, and then this is very nice, a little notice board. As you can see, we've got the Whomobile there, the TARDIS motif, and then we have Lee Seng Chang, and then we have Lee Seng Chang there, what says, chap looks familiar, must check up. So obviously that's a little nod to the 3rd Doctor, thinking that looks like the Master. Obviously that's not accurate how it was, because obviously they probably didn't even know who Lee Seng Chang was back in 1974. So yeah, that's a nice little nod to the fans really, which I thought was quite nice. And obviously the floor, we have a nice shadow of where the TARDIS would be. So yeah, this is a really nice way of displaying the figures. So if you want to do a recreation of the regeneration with the 3rd Doctor becoming the 4th Doctor, then you can. It's a really nice little callback, and as cardboard goes, it's a really nice lovely bit of cardboard. Ah, the Doctor, the definitive article, you might say. Yes, the 4th Doctor regenerated. Now this is the 3rd release of this figure, which we'll do a comparison at the end of the 4th Doctor figure section. So what are my first impressions of this figure? Well, I think that it's one of those figures what just looks a lot better in person. When I first saw the photos online, I thought, ooh, I don't really like the look of this, but actually, having the figure in hand, it looks rather nice, because they have improved certain elements of this figure. So without further ado, let's look at the articulation, then we'll go into detail, and then we'll do the comparison. So let's begin with articulation. So the head can move side to side, the arms can do a full 360 degree turn, and we do have bicep articulation, what can do a full 360-degree turn. Then we have elbow articulation, and the wrists can do a full 360-degree turn. Waist can do a full 360 if you really force it. The legs are on a T-crotch joint, so we can kick out and move to a side, but are hindered by the jacket. We do have thigh articulation, what can do a full 360-degree turn, and bend. So moving on to the detail of this figure. Now obviously this figure is basically the Time Capsule release, what was released back in 2013. Now I think this head sculpt is basically the standard Wave 1 Tom Baker head with a new hair. So if we take a look at the hair now, the hair is done incredibly well. As you can see, we've got a sort of light brown base coat, and then they've got sort of a dark brown wash over to show you all the various curl detail, which is done really well, which is done rather nice. And we have the sideburns, if we can focus, because he's very pale. So if we can just get the camera to focus there, you've got the sideburn detail, which I'm going to be honest, really sticks out like a sore thumb. Like, it doesn't look as bad in person, but I think if they made it a sort of a dark brown or a light brown colour, I think it would be fine. But it's just the fact that it's kind of a bright orange, it just makes it stick out like a sore thumb. And yeah, it doesn't look right to me actually. It makes it look a little bit too garish for my personal liking. Now the face sculpt, yeah, it does look very much like the Wave 1 Tom Baker head. Now, like I said, you can see all the lines on his face, which is done rather nice, and the eyebrows done incredibly well. So yeah, not much to say, but the head sculpt does look a lot better. Obviously this figure is based from when we first see the 4th Doctor, when he's lying down on the floor, so it probably does look better on side profile there, because it probably is more accurate to how it was, because the 4th Doctor hair is very different in robot compared to what we know really of the 4th Doctor's hair. So if we move down to the costume now, but if we're moving down to the costume now, the costume is a lot more accurate, and I say this is a lot more accurate because of the actual jacket, because the actual piping on the jacket is now a grey colour, which is very much how it was in Planet of the Spiders and the start of Robot. Obviously the original jacket was more embroidered, it had an embroidered pattern, but obviously Character Options trying to do an embroidered pattern on such a small scale would be a bit of a disaster really, so this is a lot more accurate. Obviously we are missing some of the piping detail, because the piping did go along the pocket and the top of the cuff of the jacket, but still can't complain really, but that's done rather nice. Then we have the only time this shirt piece has ever been used, which is on the regenerated figure, which is an awful shame, because it is a really nice shirt piece, and obviously if they did do this, it will open up some more variants for the 3rd Doctor, some more interesting variants, like I said in my 3rd Doctor and TARDIS review. So we've got the detailing of the buttons there and the frills. Taking a look at the shirt now, we have this nice mint green coloured shirt, which is a little bit inaccurate. I feel like the Time Capsule one is more accurate because it is proper blue, and that is continued on the frills, as you can see, to sort of really accentuate the frills. And obviously the 3rd Doctor shirt did have a bit of a trim on it, and that is continued on the frill of the shirt. As you can see, we've got the nice grey detailing there. So yeah, that's the only real new talking point, and they haven't painted the waistcoat. If you get it in certain light, you can see where the waistcoat is, but obviously they've glued this one up tight, so you can't exactly see it, but you can see it on the original Time Capsule one there, just about there. So that's the only major difference from your standard 3rd Doctor figure, what we all know and love. The rest of the figure is the 3rd Doctor figure, what we all know. So we've got the nice little panelling detail there, the pockets sculpted there, and again we have the nice seams on the jacket and the creases to give it that lifelike effect. And then we have the 3 pockets there, and again the seam there, which is done rather nicely. Notice that they haven't painted the ring on the finger, which is obviously accurate because the 4th Doctor didn't have the ring in Robot from memory. So then we have the 3rd Doctor's grey trousers. Again, we have the seam going along there and the creasing detail to give it that lifelike effect. And then we do have the matte black Chelsea boots, which is done rather nice. So moving on to the comparison. Now this figure has had 3 releases, but we're going to focus on the Time Capsule release. For now, I will bring in the American version once we've done the comparison for this. Now this is basically a repainted version of the Time Capsule figure that was released back in 2013. So yes, as you can see, you can definitely see the differences straight away. Obviously the jacket is probably the most noticeable one, but like I said, this figure here, the B&M one, looks more like Tom Baker than the original Time Capsule one. As you can see up close, the new B&M one definitely looks more like Tom Baker. This one, as you can see, the original Time Capsule one looks like Tom Jones, but yeah, the B&M one definitely looks more like Tom Baker in my personal opinion. As you can see, the hair is now slightly different. There's more of a brown wash to it. From the back it does look like McGann actually, doesn't it, the B&M one. But yeah, as you can see, the trousers are now more a lighter grey, which I think is more accurate. But I think that the original Time Capsule release, the shirt, I definitely do feel like is more accurate to the Third Doctor shirt, because it is more of a sort of a blue colour than a mint green sort of look, and obviously this one has the waistcoat painted. So yeah, but I definitely feel like this has the more superior paint apps to make it look more screen accurate, especially with the jacket. Makes it a lot more accurate, and I definitely think the paint apps on the face definitely make this figure look more like Tom Baker than Tom Jones. So if I bring in the American version, which I have a custom regenerated Third Doctor, you can definitely see the differences there. Now the shirt on the American single carded one is obviously more of a greenish colour than blue, so I will say that the B&M shirt colour is more accurate than the American release. So yeah, that's the only major difference, and the trousers are obviously more like what you see in sort of the B&M Third Doctor TARDIS set of the American Fourth Doctor one. But yeah, the trousers on the new one are more accurate. So if we just line them all up, you can see the differences. Obviously that's got a Third Doctor head because, you know, it's a custom regeneration figure there. But yeah, I definitely do prefer the new B&M one to the Time Capsule one, which I didn't think I would say, but actually in person this figure has really surprised me on how much I like it, because I definitely think the piping on the jacket really makes the figure pop a lot more, and the new updated paint apps on the face just make it look a lot more like Tom Baker. But yeah, I'm really not fussed on the ginger sideburns because they just look a little bit garish for my liking. So there we go, that's the Fourth Doctor figure. Very nice addition, and yeah, much improved on the original releases from 2013, and I think that was based from 2014, the American one, not too sure. And then we have this Fourth Doctor there. So here we have on the main attraction of this set, and that is obviously the TARDIS. Now this TARDIS is supposedly based off its appearance in Robot. Obviously when character options say a TARDIS is based from an episode, it probably isn't. Now this is kind of an amalgamation of various TARDIS, what we see in the Fourth Doctor, because obviously the TARDIS prop changed throughout each episode really. Now I was watching The Ark in Space recently, and I noticed that the sign actually was white, it was actually lit up, and it actually had a white background and the black text, which I'll insert a photo now. So a part of me feels like this is kind of based from the next story on, The Ark in Space. I've seen people say Terror of the Zygons. Take your pick, whatever you want to say this TARDIS is from, but at the end of the day I'm just happy to have another TARDIS, and it looks pretty gorgeous. Now if you got the Third Doctor TARDIS, this TARDIS suffers exactly the same problems as that. It does have that waxy texture to it, which makes it feel very odd compared to the other TARDISes, which I don't know how I feel. Like, it does feel like it's very... I don't know how I feel, it just feels very strange. It just feels very waxy. So without further ado, let's look at the detail, then we move on to its major feature, the opening doors. So let's look at the detail. The detailing now. So we have the roof. Obviously we have it divided into 4 sections there, with the panelled section, which is done rather nice, which I don't think is accurate, because I think it was just basically a flat roof really, and didn't have any detailing of the wood grain, because I don't think the classic TARDISes actually had the wood grain look. It's very much a new series thing to make it look like it's made out of wood. So the lantern is a grey base colour with a sort of a black wash over to give it that weathered look. And again, this is a review of my TARDIS, because obviously the TARDISes do vary. You might get a really weathered, battered looking TARDIS, and then you might just get a really clean TARDIS. So taking a look, so moving down, we have the stacked roof there, and then we have the actual police box sign again with the wood grain look there. Then we have the nice police box sign there, which is on a white background, which I really do like, because it makes this TARDIS seem very unique and stand out against the other TARDISes, which I think is rather nice, even though I don't think the front sign was on this TARDIS. I think it was missing. But the windows are done rather nice. You can see we've got a bit of a black wash on this TARDIS, and the other window doesn't have a black wash. Like I said, it really does vary on each TARDIS. Again, we have the nice frosted window detailing there. We have a nice sign panel detail, which is done rather nice there, which I believe the text is accurate. Again, we do have a bit of a wash over there to make it look weathered. We have the lock sculpted there, which should technically be there, but obviously they're just reusing the original parts, so you know, you can't really fault them. Again, we have this nice weathering detail. If you can put it up against the light, you can see the wood grain detailing there, and you can see a slight bit of weathering there on there, which is rather nice. It's a bit more subtle than the Third Doctor TARDIS, maybe because it's a much darker TARDIS compared to the Third Doctor one, so it doesn't look as prominent, because it's more of a brown wash instead of a black wash. Hopefully the camera is picking up, because it does look a little bit more weathered in person. Actually, the camera doesn't seem to be picking up the glossiness of this TARDIS, because the TARDIS is incredibly shiny, but it looks rather matte. But if you get up against the light, you can see that it does look rather glossy there. You can just see the different weathering detail there, especially on the sort of base of the TARDIS there. You can see the sort of brown wash over there. Moving down to the side, you basically have exactly the same detail there. The sign, windows, exactly the same. Again, nice bit of weathering there on the TARDIS. You can see the nice wood grain effect there. Then we have the speaker grill, because obviously at the time this was an electronic TARDIS. Maybe 10 years ago this would have been a fully operational TARDIS with lights and sounds. Obviously for cost reasons they haven't bothered to fill it up, but yeah, it's alright if you display the TARDIS there, because nobody will know. Again, we have the weathering detail, which is continued all along the TARDIS. We can just about see specks of brown paint there, and again, nice window detailing there, and again, the wood grain effect is continued all along the TARDIS there. So yeah, that's the TARDIS. Pretty simple. I do like the sort of black wash over the windows to give it that sort of worn and washed out look, to show that this TARDIS has been travelling, because I do like the weathered look on the TARDIS. As you can see, they have forgotten to give that bit of a TARDIS of weather. You can see the original blue is seeping through there. But yeah, I do like the weathered look. I don't know whether the actual wash is causing the waxy feeling of this TARDIS. I don't actually know. But this TARDIS does look a bit more weathered in person. It doesn't really show up on camera actually. Maybe because, like I said, it is a darker blue, so it doesn't look as prominent compared to the other TARDIS. It's more prominent there. You can see a bit of a brown wash there. But yeah, it's done rather nice. I do like a good old classic TARDIS, because it's nice that we are slowly filling the TARDIS collection up. So if we actually open this up, because this is the main feature, so we have a spring-loaded door, and we have a door on a latch, and you can see there, that's the original TARDIS blue colour there. So this the door there, the one with the actual sign, is done on a lock, so that just locks into place. And of course we do have a little square button there, and if you press it like so, the door's shut. So I think we're just going to have to accept that the B&M TARDISes are going to have this sort of wax-like texture to them, which I think over time that will probably wear off, because the Third Doctor TARDIS I have now doesn't have the same sort of waxy texture what it did when I first have it. So I feel like it's a thing that will wear off. Probably because it's brand new, it does feel very strange. So yeah, I really do like it. Again, like I said, they've missed a bit of weathering there, so it makes it look a bit garish. But yeah, I do like the weathered look, because it shows that this TARDIS has travelled around a bit. But like I said, it's not really particularly based off any Fourth Doctor TARDIS. It's just kind of an amalgamation of, here's a Fourth Doctor TARDIS from various bits of his era, really. So yeah, I do like it. On camera, it looks really nice. It looks completely different in person. It looks a lot more glossy, like I said, but yeah, looks incredibly nice. So let's do the classic TARDIS lineup now. So here we have the classic TARDIS lineup. So we have the First Doctor TARDIS there, then we have the Third Doctor, then we have the new Fourth Doctor TARDIS, then we have the original Fourth Doctor TARDIS, and then we have the Seventh Doctor TARDIS, which was my first ever classic TARDIS. So yeah, as you can see, they look brilliant all lined up. Hopefully one day we will have all the classic TARDISes, and that will look amazing. As you can see, the colour difference between the Third Doctor and the Fourth Doctor of B&M TARDIS is completely different. As you can see, this TARDIS looks very purple, almost like the Paul McGann TARDIS from the TV movie, doesn't it? That would be a lovely TARDIS to have, wouldn't it? Even though it would be a repaint of the 7th Doctor one, but I'll be absolutely fine with that. But yeah, it looks absolutely stunning next to the other classic TARDISes. I personally do prefer the original 4th Doctor TARDIS to this one, but I really do like the white sign, because it really does make it stand out and look very different. You know, it's not me being really fussy, but I prefer the original. I just think the original one, I just prefer the colour scheme of the original. I just prefer the darker blue. to the sort of slightly purplish blue colour on the new B&M one, personally. But yeah, so what are my concluding thoughts on the 4th Doctor regenerated figure and TARDIS from the B&M lineup? Well, personally, I really like this set. It's £20 and I definitely think that it's worth the £20 price tag for a really nice updated 4th Doctor figure, which makes it look a lot more screen accurate. And obviously, in my personal opinion, I think that this is the best 4th Doctor regenerated figure character options have ever done. And the TARDIS, like I said, if you missed out on the 3rd Doctor TARDIS, what they did back in the summer, then this is definitely a welcome addition to that, and definitely worth tracking down. And obviously, if you did miss out on the original 4th Doctor TARDIS, like many people did, because that TARDIS is like gold dust on eBay, then it is definitely a worth picking up, because it is obviously a nice TARDIS to fill that TARDIS-shaped hole in your collection. So yeah, this is definitely worth the £20 price tag. Who knows what character options will do in the next sort of TARDIS set. Hopefully, I'm hoping for a 5th Doctor from Caves Androzani, so basically put the 5th Doctor head on the regenerated 6th Doctor body. That would be lovely. That's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what character options do. But yeah, little side note, the little diorama, the sort of the unit lab diorama, again, makes the set really pop, and like I said, it makes a nice little display piece. As you can see, the 4th Doctor and the TARDIS look rather beautiful in there. Obviously, if you do figure adventures, that'll come in handy if you do 3rd Doctor figure adventures, or you want to do the 4th Doctor returning back to unit. I don't know, but it makes a nice little option to display. And like I said, it's a really nice hark back to the golden days of the figures, where Forbidden Planet were giving us classic figure sets each month. So yeah, I really do appreciate this bit of cardboard. I think it's a very nice bit of pretty cardboard, and it really does set off the figure and the TARDIS incredibly well. So yes, I definitely do recommend the regenerated 4th Doctor and TARDIS set. Like I said, it's a very odd it's a very odd set, because obviously it's not your traditional 4th Doctor figure. You know what they could have done, they've used a regeneration figure which they've updated a lot more and makes it stand out a lot better. So yeah, definitely do recommend this set. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this figure review. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next video, whatever that will be. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.